Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Redefine Tomorrow, the virtual summit by SCB 10X and Bloomberg. Today's fireside chat topic is Curve and the evolution of DEX. We're very happy to have our dear speaker, Mr. Michael Egorov, CEO and founder of Curve Protocol. And by the way, this is Matt Liu. I'm co-founder at SynFutures Protocol. I'll be the moderator today. So without further ado, maybe Michael, can you help give a quick intro about yourself as a start?
Sure. So as Matthew said, I'm the founder of Curve, which originally started as a stablecoin exchange, but then started exchanging cryptocurrencies like between volatile pairs as well, and now expanded to the world of actually creating stablecoins. So and before Curve, I co-founded NewsCypher, and before that worked at LinkedIn, and before did PhD in physics in Australia, and graduated MIT in Russia as well.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, maybe we can start with a little bit dive into the protocol, right? Curve. Can you help us give a quick overview of what Curve is, and especially what sort of inspiration when you started Curve, and the role and position today Curve plays in the DEX landscape.
Yeah, right. So Curve started with the exchange in stablecoins, like stablecoin to stablecoin, with the same denomination, which wasn't recognized as a need. But from 2018, I was a user of MakerDAO because I don't really like selling cryptos. So I borrowed DAI against Ether, and exchanged DAI to USDC on Coinbase. But that I didn't really like the markets over there. It looks pretty bad. So it was clear to me that some good stablecoin to stablecoin exchange is needed. And at the same time, I was thinking about liquid staking a lot. So I was thinking to start some actually liquid staking project. And I thought, okay, well, you can stake, but what if unstaking is not fast? Maybe you need some buffer, maybe you need some sort of exchange between what we now call staking derivative and the real coin. So I came up with stable swap algorithm, the one powering stablecoin exchange at Curve, and combining with that need, I basically created Curve as we know it. So stablecoin to stablecoin exchange, or same denomination exchange, is still the biggest part of the Curve's market. So yeah, that's kind of the brief history of creation. But later I came up with some way to do volatile pair exchange more efficiently, and the kind of even later came up with some interesting way to do liquidations without actually liquidating. So which is what we did with the stablecoin. We'll see how it goes, but that probably covers everything.
Thanks, Michael. So basically, in the beginning, you're a DGen user, and you find that there's actually a pain point, or a vacancy, right? And then you realize, right, okay, it's time for you to build Curve to fill this vacancy, right?
Yes, pretty much. And I actually heard from some people at Binance that they actually looked at those stablecoin to stablecoin exchanges, and they didn't recognize the need. So it was probably important to be a user yourself to recognize it.
It's very entrepreneurial. So then, as a DEX, we see that now, Curve also wanted to create the stablecoin, right? CRVUSD. What is the thought behind that, or any new applications or features
Right.
coming together with it?
Yeah, I think there are two biggest things in the stablecoin. One thing is we completely rethought how liquidations are done. So instead of liquidations, actually, when the market comes close to liquidation price, the special AMM creates liquidity between collateral and the stablecoin. So if the price of collateral dives in, the AMM actually makes it profitable for arbitrage traders and normal like aggregators to swap through this pool. And those swaps will be actually performing liquidation or deliquidation if the price goes back up. So which means that if your collateral dives in, you are actually not getting a margin call. And if it goes up again, you have your collateral back minus some loss, right? So, and simulations showed some pretty good numbers. So I've built that into algorithm, and right now we have the stable coin running, and looks like the simulations showed exactly correct results. So that if you go into liquidation, on average, like loss while you are under the liquidation price seems to be about 0.2% per day or something, maybe a bit less. So that's what I'm experiencing with my test position. So it looks pretty good to me so far. And another piece is something we call peg keepers. And to be frank, it doesn't appear to be new. Like we thought about that independently, but it was first implemented by Frax as ammos. So the idea in our implementation is that when stablecoin is higher than 1.0 in price, the peg keepers mint stablecoin essentially, or take from pre-minted reserve and deposit into curve pools with the stablecoin. But when the price is below 1.0, they withdraw and burn, right? So, and that makes a stabilizing action on a stablecoin, and also it's a profitable operation. Maybe the difference from what Frax did is that we actually made the peg keeper peg into several redeemable stablecoins. So USDC, USDT, TUSD, and USDP from Paxos. So if one of these redeemable stablecoins depegs, like USDC did recently, that wouldn't really screw the peg of CRVUSD up. So that because it doesn't peg to one single redeemable stablecoin, it pegs to several of them in a special way. So it's not just average; it really, the math really tries to ignore the stablecoin, like if one of three depegs, sorry, if one of four depegs. But that could be any quantity, so it doesn't really have to be 4. It's just probably 4, which seem to be the most solid, but that list can be expanded, of course.
I see. Thanks, Michael. I think that the mechanism design, like you said, works pretty well, just like what the model would forecasted, right?
Yes.
And especially solving the issue around liquidation. This is big because we have seen various different DeFi projects have different liquidation mechanisms. Some work well, some really cause systematic risks, right? So having this LAMA, LAMMA, right? That's
yes.
the name. See, I apologize.
Yeah. It was called really to remind about llamas. That's all.
Oh, that's the thought behind that. That's clever. Okay, wow, and it's cute. And then for CRVUSD, right? So far, how has this benefited you? Like Curve or overall the DeFi ecosystem, and what's the part in the future?
Well, it's hard to see yet. It's just starting, right? But I really think that solving this liquidation liquidation problem. It's a really interesting thing. It's something I haven't seen before. So that's will be interesting to see in practice. But I think with that, probably loan to value ratios can go much higher, and probably much much healthier use of leverage on chain could be there. So that's good. And I think probably many more traders can go pretty much higher with leverage than before, and that's at the same time being safer. So that's the hope, or well, at least for me as a user, that's also good.
Yeah, that solves the
I think the biggest problem it solves, if you borrow, I don't know, close to maximum and then go to sleep, you can still sleep well, and it's gonna be all right. So that's the biggest for me.
That is big. You think about the whole crypto and DeFi world is 24/7 nonstop, but people do need to sleep, right? Getting some assets or some trades, some leverage in place, and being able to sleep on it, sleep over it, right, for the night, is important for all the participants. Sure. Yeah, because we are humans. Yes. Wow. Okay, that's an even higher level than DeFi itself, I think. So now I get it, right? So Michael, instead of just capital efficiency, of course, that you already covered, this means getting users to feel better, right? With taking the same leverage, or when they take higher leverage, the risks are lower.
Yeah, I'm not taking that super high leverage. So, but right now I deliberately created some pretty serious position which is kind of deliberately stays in soft liquidation just to see how it works.
I see.
Yeah, and so it's like my losses sponsor arbitrage traders. They build their bots without me knowing who they are, just because, well, the losses of, like, while you are in soft liquidation actually pay for arbitrage.
Okay, now they know that you're making them rich. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because now you admit it. Yeah, and then do you think this, like, safer leverage, higher, I would say, capital efficiency would not only be just used within Curve, but what, like, use case you see this CRVUSD to extend from Curve to outside Curve?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a possibility. So maybe we can, once this thing shows up, maybe it will make sense to create some generic AMM for others to use. Because if you think about it, it's like an option. It's an option where if the price goes way down, then you are all in USD, for example. And if it goes way up, you are all in crypto. So it's a kind of inverse of a normal of what normal AMM is. So you can say that it has even impermanent gain instead of impermanent loss. But at the same time, when you are in the range where your liquidity is created, you actually have real some real loss happening. So impermanent gain is not coming for free; it's coming for the price of some permanent loss rate while you are in the range of prices where your liquidity is.
I see. It's a good way you put it. Impermanent gain, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like an option. Like if your price goes up, you have crypto. If your price goes down, you have USD. And maybe this option can be used for something else. It's just this option collateralizes CRVUSD essentially.
That's a very creative design, I think. Yeah. So yeah, without further going into a lot of technical details, we actually also want to learn from you about the very famous curve war. What do you see as the status now? If anything has changed, especially with the new intro of CRVUSD and going forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing yet changed, so it's still we'll see how CRVUSD affects that. But curve war is just the how to say, the battle to get more governance power at curve, essentially, right? And well, there are different tricks such as I don't know, liquidity mining and whatever, and some different sorts of to incent different ways to incentivize pools, and yeah, so it's pretty much revolving around governance and rewards. And we'll see how it works out with CRVUSD. I think some projects doing pools with CRVUSD that would probably be causing some interesting effects, or maybe, I don't know, maybe some creative ways to embed CRVUSD in other projects, not just as a token. So, for example, voting power, or VECRV, it boosts production of CRVs when you put liquidity in pools. So CRVUSD, in principle, can be collateralized by curve pool liquidity as well, not just tokens. And well, we don't have any markets with that just yet, but the hooks to make it possible are in there. So pretty soon we will create, let's say, trick crypto collateral and stuff like that. And I think that because these are boostable, you can use VECRV to boost production of CRVs by that collateral. That could mean a new twist in curve wars.
That would be interesting developments. Yeah. Look forward to that.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it works.
Michael, we also want to get your view on overall the landscape of DEX these days, especially we are in crypto winter, or a softer market for a while. What are some developments you have witnessed?
Yeah, well, I think for DEXs themselves, I wouldn't expect any revolutionary changes here. So probably some something around the same lines as it was moving before. I think hopefully we might see more push for foreign exchange markets like USD, Euro, because we have stable coins of different forex denominations this time, and maybe that will grow. And of course we have Ethereum staking fully working as it was designed, so both staking and unstaking work, and that part will grow a lot. And I think staking derivatives will be embedded in many more places than before, because unstaking works, and now it's very much de-risked. So that's a pretty serious topic, I think.
I see. Yeah. And what also pretty trendy these days is this evolving regulation, right? And then some people say the regulation, the keyword regulation this year was like keyword NFT previously. It's just everyone wants to know what's happening there and how this is going to impact their business. What's your view on this? How do you think the regulation would impact DeFi over?
Yeah, I think, well, probably people overestimate a little bit how regulation evolves, and I think it probably shouldn't be rushed, because I've seen that many regulators, they don't understand things properly, and doing that improperly is very, very close to banning things. But that probably doesn't really happen, because there are some people who, in like close to regulatory circles, who do know that some approach different from traditional is needed, and well, they will probably be arguing for a while. They will be I wouldn't expect so-called regulatory clarity too soon, and that's probably a good thing, because they would really need to learn how things work. It's very different from a traditional finance. It's like truly non-custodial. Like you don't have to trust any financial institution behind services built in DeFi, if it's true DeFi, of course. So they would have to learn how to deal with it, because all the previous laws, they were designed around the fact that there is a custodian. Like it wasn't possible other way, and now it is possible, and they are scratching their heads how to deal with it. Who knows, maybe, well, I think ideal would be if the role of a regulator would be more informational, but well, yeah, it will take time for them to figure out how to do it. So that's what I think. So I wouldn't expect regulatory clarity, and like probably would be not too glad to see that there is a bad regulatory clarity. So better to wait and have a good regulatory clarity than to have a bad one right away. So
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I personally talked to quite a couple of regulators, and I think, like you said, they're also trying to catch up with where the business development is and what the new concepts are.
yes.
Yeah. The good part is, after the FTX thing last year, I think a lot of them are really looking at DeFi and say, okay, maybe this is a different animal, right? Even that perception, it's I think it's good enough for now.
Yeah, that's a very good thought. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll take time, right, for all the regulators to really learn and then draft the regulations in a clear and positive way. But it's also our responsibility to keep the education thing
true.
Right?
Yes, we probably need to communicate as much as possible, like of what should be done to keep to DeFi ethos. Why should we do it? Why is it better than centralized things, and so on?
Exactly. So Michael, I think we have a last question before we close today's session. We'd like to know your views in the next 2 to 3 years, even longer period. What would you think the overall DEX landscape will be like, and what position and role you think Curve will play in that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because like probably, well, Curve probably should expand on where it works. I think probably expanding more in the crypto markets, which is well, however boring it may find, it just comes down to optimizing exchange algorithms, right? But I think there is a big potential with what we are doing with CRVUSD. Who knows where it will end up? But it's not just a stable coin. It kind of does quite some things fundamentally differently. So that's I think we would expand in those directions. And overall DEX ecosystem, well, we are kind of focusing on spot markets, but there are also like futures and derivatives, which we didn't touch. They are, of course, pretty big in DeFi, I think. So we'll probably see all of those areas growing.
Okay, thanks, Michael. And thank you, everyone who joined us today. And hope you all enjoyed the fire chat with Michael today. Yeah, thanks. Until next time.